in this fast martial arts weapons lesson, oh wait a minute, fast martial arts lesson, we don't have a weapon on this one, except these right here. I'm gonna show you how to work your speed bag. If you have one of these in your gym or in your house, I have one of these in the house and in the gym, you wanna know how to use it to get the most benefit out of it. The first thing you have to understand is the purpose of the speed bag. You start to hit this thing, and you can start to come in and out, and there are different ways to hit it. So you're going forward, you're going back, and we're gonna go over some of that. But the most thing that you have to understand, the main purpose of this thing right here is so that you get desensitized to this thing. Hello, it's good to see you. Coming into your face, right? People think it's about timing. Most people just use it because it looks cool and they can do cool stuff, and then they Instagram themselves doing really cool things, and that's cool too. There's nothing wrong with that. But if you watch good boxers and you talk to a professional boxing coach, really good boxers, professional boxing coaches understand the real reason that you have these in the gym is so that you get used to something flying at your face. So when you're defending yourself or you're fighting, you're not doing this all the time. Now that's different than the flinch block, which I teach for self-defense. But we're talking about getting used to this motion of pushing and having this thing come back in at your face over and over again so that you don't lose your composure while you're fighting. You have to get used to moving your head with your body. Your head doesn't move just by itself. It's got to move with your body, and you can do all that on this. So the first thing you do, and I'm going to show you, just lift this up a little bit, hold on, this thing here. Now, this is about 1 inch thick. If you go to a professional boxing gym, these things can be like 6 inches, 8 inches thick, and that's what you really want. The heavier this thing is, the heavier the base, the better it's gonna move. Second thing is, how big is the bag itself? This is kind of a medium, this is a small medium bag, so that means it's faster. The bigger ones are gonna be much easier, and they're not gonna move as fast, and you're gonna be able to hit them. But you don't have to start with the big, heavy, chunky bag. You can start with this smaller bag and get really good at it. The third thing you have to see is that it's gonna hit back, come forward, and then you're gonna hit it again, back, and it comes again. So it goes 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, and you hear that. And however fast you go, you're still gonna hear that. Yeah, and so inside here is a rubber core, and on the outside, this is leather. And this one, yeah, this is an actual leather one. You can get leather, you can get the fake leather. The fake leather falls apart, but if you're hitting them enough, it doesn't matter. You're gonna go through. This is about the third the inside of this thing. You pull this apart. This one here, it's tied up. You take it off, you pull that bladder out, you put a new one in, and then you fill it up with air. Now that's the next thing you have to understand, is when you have one of these, this is extremely important. This is just a cheap $1, $1.99 from the local CVS pharmacy. They sold this right next to the little bags, the beach balls that you take to the beach. But you need to be able to keep enough air in this, because in most gyms that I've been in where I've trained, either traveling or I've gone in for classes, that they don't have enough air in them. And so they're squishy, and they're frustrating, they're hard to hit. So you wanna make sure, kind of like a basketball or a soccer ball, it has enough air that when you hit it, it's gonna go in and come back, and it's gonna feel like you're getting a good workout. Now, the next thing is, you wanna try to keep your hands up the whole time. Don't get in the habit of dropping. See how my hand drops out of the screen, comes back up? All while that's dropping, that's taking time. And when you get really fast with it, it's gonna drop a little bit, but you wanna think in the terms of going forward and back, and not forward and down. When you fight, you wanna go forward and bring it back, but not down. Yeah, I believe you're right. I believe it's 1 kilogram. So you wanna go forward, and then you'll notice that I'm hitting right here with a tight hand. And a lot of people will wrap their hands so that they can get used to the weight of the wraps, get used to the wraps in the hands, but also to protect that a little bit. That's a personal preference. If you're a boxer and you wanna go for, be a really great boxing fighter, like an amateur athlete or pro athlete, wear your wraps. You want to get as comfortable with wraps as you can all the time, right? But this first strike, 1, 2, 3, when you hit it and you first start, you're gonna suck at it. And you have to allow yourself to be bad at something before you can be good at it. And if you get in there and you got a big ego, and you're gonna be frustrated. And the tighter your mind gets, the harder that's gonna get, and you're gonna miss it, and you're gonna miss it, and you're gonna miss it. You're gonna get so frustrated, so you have to let all that go and allow yourself not to be good at it. And give yourself 2 or 3 days. Because when you go to sleep at night, your brain is gonna heal those neural pathways that are doing this motion, and you're gonna be better at it when you come back. It's like learning a language. So you go 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. And then the other thing that's happening, and I'll show you this, is this thing right here spinning and turning. And when this is like this, it's a great pivot. If it turns like this, it doesn't pivot the same way. And you can see that, right? It's turning this way, it's turning this way. And so when you start to hit it, you're not gonna be that great at keeping it consistent. It's not gonna be consistently in the same spot, so it's not gonna be as easy to hit. But don't quit, don't give up. Allow yourself to be not good at it until you're really good at it. So 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Make sure you can hear that bop, bop, bop. And then you have to start pushing yourself, because I know when I teach a lot of people, they get really good at it. But then they don't want to do the next step, which is you have to try to get that hand up again and hit it and hit it and hit it and start missing it again until you can do that. The base is, it's compressed wood. It's that cheap wood that they glue together and they press down under heat. Particle board. The top is particle board, and then there's a laminate. There's a piece of hard plastic glued to the wood, which makes it more dense. What I was saying earlier was the denser and heavier this thing is, the better it's gonna work for you, the more it's gonna snap back. Make sure there's enough air in it. And see, it's on the wrong side. And don't do this. This is a big mistake that everybody makes that I see at the beginning. I made this mistake all the time. They do this. They stop and they try to make it perfectly and then do it again. Don't do that. You want to be able to move and fight, right? And move and fight. And when you throw punches, you're going to miss all the time in self-defense. So you need to be able to hit a moving target. So when it doesn't go the way you want it to, keep going until you get it back in there. And don't quit. Now, this is how you should break down your practice. You have a left hand and a right hand. Don't let either one drop, ever. Okay, put the timer on, start for 30 seconds, go to a minute, minute 30, 90 seconds, and then 2 minutes. The speed bag, great question. Most people think it seems intuitive, right? That it's about building endurance in your arms. Yes, it does that. That it's about hitting a moving target. Yes, it does that. That it's about timing and distance. Yes. But the purpose, the original purpose, is to get used to the thing flying at your face, a punch coming at your face, right? So that you don't flinch. And if you watch amateur fighters from a really bad school, if you watch amateur fighters from like a Cuban school, there's a Cuban school here in West Palm. Efrain Martinez, one of the best coaches I've ever worked with. And if you go to his school, you're not gonna flinch when you get into the ring for the first time. You're gonna see those guys, they know what they're doing. But a lot of amateur schools, you'll see when the guys aren't used to getting hit, they flinch a lot. And that creates all kinds of openings, all kinds of problems for fighting. So this bag, you get in there, and it starts to help you get used to that leather flying at your face from the boxing glove. So yes, so it does all those things. It gets you used to the movement, desensitizes you. It improves your timing, improves your distance, improves your cardio, because after a while, you don't want to stand flat-footed. If you're standing flat-footed, you're just working the arms. So now you got to start to work on your boxing move, right? You're stepping in and out, boxing and stepping in. There's 3 or 4 basic boxing steps, side to side, moving, and you want to be able to do that the whole time you're working your bag, and it's not easy. It's extremely hard. So it becomes an excellent workout for your whole body. Now, but start flat-footed. Start where you are and grow up to that, right? Starting with your left foot forward in your fighting stance, unless you're left-handed, put your right foot forward. You're gonna put the timer on 30 seconds and count 10 with the left, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And then without changing your foot position, 10 with the right. and then 5 with the left, 5 with the right, and then 2, and 2, 2, and do 2 and 2 for the first round. And then the second time you do it, do 10, 10, 5, 5, 2, or 2, and 2. There it is. And then 1, 2, 1. I might have to look at it. See what I did? Don't ever stop it. But you have to be able to do that, and you have to force yourself not to do this every single time, and you'll want to. But I'll watch you, and you're doing it, and you're spending, if you do 5 minutes, you're spending 2.5 minutes bringing it to a stop. There's no way you're gonna get a good workout. Get used to it messing up. And this is a good chance to, or time to practice your breathing. Hello, I wanna show you one more thing too. It's good to see you. Egg weights. This guy, I don't know who he is. I used to watch him on Instagram when he first got started. Smart dude, right? Here's a quick business tip, unsolicited. If you want to start a fitness brand, especially like a niche fitness brand like martial arts or boxing, or here's a really good one. We're working on the Speedbag. Working for hand speed, getting used to moving the body around. But these are egg weights, and this is, I think these are 1.5 pounds. So now I have, 16-ounce gloves, that's 1 pound in each hand, boxing gloves, right? But so now this is 1.5 pounds, and it's not like the old weights, like the old lady weights, not old ladies, but you know, I know that's the wrong term. The nylon weights, and they stick out on both sides, and then you're punching, and those are great if that's what you've got. But these, now you've got these, 10, you do 10, and then you go into your boxing, and you start to move your body, and then you start to move your feet, and then you're practicing while you're moving your feet, and you have these here the whole time. Now you're getting a wicked workout for your shoulder, for your hands. Your punch is gonna come hard. Like when I hit the bags after a while, or I've always had a hard punch. When I used to compete when I was a younger person, they called me the jackhammer, because I could punch somebody so hard that they would give up and didn't want to fight. In the tournament, not for self-defense, just for, and Taekwondo is known for kicking, right? But if you know how to punch and kick, especially now, because what they do now is all goofy. You can knock somebody to the ground easily. Anyway, so you start doing this. And moving your body around with these egg weights. And I got these from Amazon, but what the guy did was he started sending these to all the great fighters, like all the guys who fight now, right? And then all of a sudden in their Instagram posts, they were posting these, like, hey man, I just got these egg weights, these are great. I'm like, what is that? So this guy grew his whole business just doing that. It's a smart way. But what it is they take, he takes regular steel, but he mixes it with another alloy that's heavier than steel. And I can't think of the alloy. Some of you probably know what it is. But metals that are heavier, so it's a small size, but it's heavier than lead, and it's heavier than steel. So that's a full 1.5 pounds. And you put the timer on again. You go for 30 seconds, and then you work up to 60 seconds until you work up to 3 minutes. And if you can do 3 minutes, not stopping, not bringing the bag to a stop, you're gonna miss it, you're gonna make mistakes, but then you keep going. I'm gonna show you one more thing. One of my favorite ways to use the bag. Once you get the basics down, right? Because you asked me, what do I do after the basics? Practice going through and coming back, hitting on this side of your hand. So, and it's not gonna hit 1, 2, 3. It's gonna be 1, 2, 1, 2. So you go 1, 2, and then 1, 2, 1, 1, 2. So you're adding some variety. See, I'm just pulling it back this way. And you'll see the guys who are really good. There's a guy, Boris, on Instagram. I see he's a Russian boxing coach. And that guy's like he's a wizard with the bag. And you'll see some great fighters are wizards with the bag, and they can do all kinds of stuff. But that's all that is. And I saw that and I'm like, what is he doing? Because this is, you know, if you get a really good boxing coach, he doesn't want you doing all this fancy stuff, you know, and the elbows. And I can do all that because it's cool and it's fun to look at. But that doesn't make you any better at fighting. It doesn't, not even a little bit. What it does is it's really fun to do, and it's cool, and it keeps you in the gym longer, and it gets you better at fighting overall. So in that way, it's really good. but you don't have to do that with this bag. If you want to, you go through and you bring it back. So you can practice 1, 2, 1, 2. Simple and nice and easy at first, and then start to increase the speed. Oh, I just stopped it, broke my own rule. 1, 2, 3, and then I like to mix it up, like 1, 2, go through and back, 1, 2, through and back, 1, 2, through and back, and you add that, and then you can also add 1, 2, and a hook punch. So now you're coming with the knuckles to the side, and then right back into a hook punch and back into this. And that's all it is. When you see other people doing that stuff, and the same thing with an elbow. 1, 2, 3, and then they hit 1, oh, wait a minute. 1, 2, and then the elbow. I can't even do it because I can't think about it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then back of the fist. Elbow, back of the fist. Elbow, back of the fist. And you can make up all that stuff, and all that stuff is legit, but none of it's as important as getting your footwork in. Because if you want to be a great fighter, you have to have gas for days. You have to have cardio for days. Your body has to be conditioned. And so if you're really good at all this kind of stuff, but you're not moving your feet, it's useless. So if you want to do this, learn that for fun, but understand what it is. It's not necessary to be a great fighter to be able to hit it more than just the basic way. It is necessary to hit it that basic way while you're moving your feet, so you can condition the legs. So when you have to, you can knock the person out, because when they're gassed, you're just getting started. All right, thanks so much. I just want to throw some of that out there because I know you've been asking me. I'll see you guys